Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of The Bald Brad Show, where we dive into all the major news headlines you need to know about heading into your work day, your work weekend, your work midday, whenever you're seeing this podcast, because heck, it goes out everywhere to a lot of people. We got Donald Trump talking about China. We got Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. We got EBT talk, some more of that, because it's amazing what these people are buying. And I'm going to tell you exactly what they're buying because they are willing to tell me what they're buying with their EBTs, because I did a TikTok video yesterday. So we'll look through a couple of those comments. Surprisingly, a lot of people are actually against people having EBTs and SNAP benefits. So we'll dive a little bit more into that. If you didn't see the last 30 minutes of yesterday's episode on EBTs, you got to, because it was an eye-opener for me. I think it was an eye-opener for a lot of people. A lot of people. Well, this video today, this podcast is sponsored by yours truly, baldbrad.com, folks. Head over there. We have a book. We have a store. We have a blog. We have it all, baby. And we have the best community on the interwebs. The Patriot community, baby. My book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America, will tell you about the anti-police movement. And hell, really, it was a blueprint for the left to utilize it for social chaos. The left's calculated race to divide the nation, which is what they've been pushing for through the Democrat Party. That's why they chose the Democrat Party and not the Republican Party to do this type of division. The push for socialism disguised as compassion. How indoctrination in schools is reshaping the minds of the next generation as somebody in the education system. That one is worth the read. And the role of mainstream media in silencing dissent and spreading propaganda, along with abortion and a bunch of other stuff, folks. I take you through it all. It's a timely book. It's a great book. And well, 'tis the season is coming around the corner here. It's a nice holiday season gift. And these go pretty quick, man. They do cycles. They'll print a bunch and then those sell. They'll print another batch. And so I want to make sure you get yourself a copy. And it will probably be, I can't guarantee, but it's probably going to be on sale during Black Friday week as well. So make sure you check that out. And then if you want to get people merch, or, you know, some of you have husbands and wives, say, hey, I want some Bald Brad merch, Daddy. I want some Bald Brad merch. Can you get me some stuff? Hey, it's morning. Come on. That got a smirk out of some of you. All righty. Well, let's jump right into the news. We have Donald Trump visiting China. He's over there in China meeting with Xi Jinping. So here we go. And then we got a big deal ahead. We got a massive deal between China and the United States.
Warm seeing you again because it's been many years. Since your re-election, we have spoken on the phone 3 times, exchanged several letters, and stayed in close contact. And our joint guidance, China-US relations have remained stable on the whole. Given our different national conditions, we do not always see eye to eye with each other, and it is normal for the 2 leading economies of the world to have frictions now and then. And in the face of winds, waves, and challenges, you and I, at the helm of China-US relations, should stay the right course and ensure the steady sailing forward of the giant ship of China-US relations. I always believe that China's development goes hand in hand with your vision to make America great again. Our 2 countries are fully able to help each other succeed and prosper together. Over the years, I have stated in public many times that China and the United States should be partners and friends. This is what history has taught us and what reality demands. A few days ago,
As you steal $1 trillion of intellectual IP every year. Okay, sure, bud.
In the latest round of consultation,
manipulate your currency. Yeah, should be friends.
Our 2 economic and trade teams reached basic consensus on addressing our respective major concerns and made encouraging progress.
It's people get so suckered in by this stuff. And, you know, I sometimes think Trump does as well, just a little bit. But it's like, oh, yeah, we should be friends. You're right.
our respective major.
We absolutely should be friends, but the problem is friends don't do stuff like that to each other. Yeah. Friends don't manipulate each other. Friends don't steal things from each other. Friends don't threaten to invade other people's friends as well, or their homes or their houses. Yeah, they don't they don't do things like that, brother. So yeah, no, we're not friends with you. And truthfully, I don't really want to be friends with you because that's not how friends treat each other. But because going back all the way to Bill Clinton's time, they're a part of the World Trade Organization. China is now somebody you got to work with because that's where a lot of our manufacturing's at. That's where we want to make deals. That's where the rare earth is. And I got to give Donald Trump props. And this is something I want to see. I don't want to rely on a foreign adversary. We know how that one works out because, gee, Europe over there was relying on Russia for a lot of energy. That one didn't work out well. Yeah, I don't want to work with China, but sometimes you have to. So Trump cuts tariffs, opens a wallet for U.S. agriculture. Here we go. Donald Trump cut tariffs on Monday overnight on China after President Xi Jinping promised to purchase large amounts of farm products from the United States and crack down on fentanyl trafficking. I'll believe it when I see it. Trump said the tariff rate on China would be reduced from 57 to 47, so not that much of a movement. After a high-stakes meeting at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea, in return, he said China promised to purchase American soybeans, sorghum, and other farm products and stop the flow of fentanyl into the United States. I had a truly great meeting with Xi of China. There is there is enormous respect between our two countries, and that will only be enhanced with what just took place, Trump posted on Truth Social after the meeting. We agreed on many things, with others, even of high importance, being very close to resolved. Trump added that China had agreed to continue the flow of rare earth minerals used in products ranging from cell phones to fighter jets. China had been looking to implement strict export controls on the minerals. Very significantly, China has strongly stated that they will work diligently with us to stop the flow of fentanyl into our country. Do you guys, I'm sorry, but what's going to change between this meeting and something else? All of a sudden, that was the wake-up call for Xi that there's a fentanyl crisis happening in the United States and that the Chinese are just allowing it to be poured over there in South America and just moved up to our border. Now, all of a sudden, this was the wake-up call. I call bullshit. I don't believe that one bit. It's not all of a sudden you wake up and just go, oh, gee, yeah, really? You guys got a fentanyl problem over there? No way. Yeah, hey, I'll make sure I get to that real quick. No, you don't care. This is great for the Chinese. Are you kidding me? Seeing Americans get deleted, having a crisis, this is exactly what they want. They're not our friends, dude. They don't care at all about us. Folks, they unleashed a massive virus upon the entire globe, and what was the penalty for it? Nothing. Nothing happened to these people. And by that, I mean people like the government itself over there in China. It's crazy, man. And I told you nothing was going to happen. I mean, I can't believe nobody asked Trump about this. Like, hey, you know what? Where's like the, I don't know, crime against humanity, maybe, for Xi to allow this to happen? Nothing. No, nobody. Who got arrested for killing millions of people across the globe? Nobody. So yeah, I'm not gonna believe anything this guy says. I wouldn't say no country doesn't care about us. I genuinely do think, like, the guys like over there in the UK, I think they do care about America. There's a lot of people that love our country. I think the people that are loud don't really like us. Folks, we have a lot of people from the UK that tune into the show. A lot of people from the UK. In fact, a very large-scale transaction may take place concerning the purchase of oil and gas from the great state of Alaska. So he said that Energy Secretary Chris Wright, Secretary of the Interior Doug Burgum, would look into whether an energy deal was possible. I'm not going to go through this too much. It's kind of frustrating for me. I get that Trump wants to make deals and all this other stuff. I like the idea that he's making deals with other countries. I don't want that many deals with China. I want to move away from China. I don't like having a lot of deals with China. I don't like having our manufacturing there. I don't like relying on them for rare earth minerals. I don't like any of that because, as I mentioned, there's been a lot of reports that we covered over the 5 years of doing the show that China wants to go into Taiwan. And it wasn't just like this hearsay reports, you guys. If you go into my older videos and you look up the videos about China, we showed you audio, we showed you video, we showed you document proof, like actual like military documents, not just from the Chinese side, but from our side as well, saying they wanted to invade Taiwan. And if you invade Taiwan, most likely going to lead to World War III. And by the way, I plan for the worst and I hope for the best. That's how I live out my life. And I don't trust these guys at all. I know I'm repeating myself, but it floors me how some people are just so trustworthy. Well, in other news here, I want to see if I could find that piece really quick. Matt Walsh did a follow-up on the EBT stuff, and it's pretty bonkers what these people are purchasing. But before we get into that, I'm going to show you, and it's kind of cringy showing you my own content, but it just helps show the video of what I posted on TikTok so that we can go through people's comments really quickly regarding the EBT and if it's a scam or not. So here's the video that I posted late yesterday.
45 million people, 1 out of every 8 Americans, receive food benefits. And when researchers looked at how that money was being spent, they found that the average SNAP household, gets this, buys more soda, candy, desserts, and junk food than the average household that actually pays for their own groceries. I mean, think about that for a second. The people paying for the program are stretching their own budgets, buying store brand and necessities, while the system is allowing people to buy Oreos, chips, energy drinks, and protein tubs on taxpayers' dime. And the justification that's being used here to defend this is absolutely wild. You've got politicians saying, well, for every $1 spent on SNAP creates $1.80 in economic activity. Well, okay, but that doesn't mean it creates value. If I hand you $1 and then you hand that dollar to somebody else, we didn't magically make more money. We just moved the dollar around. That's not economic growth. That's just circulation. And if that logic worked, we could simply put the entire U.S. budget into food stamps and boom, instant prosperity, baby. Obviously, that's not how reality works, and they're just lying to all of us. Meanwhile, there's widespread fraud that everyone knows is happening. Flipping benefits for cash, buying items to resell, or in some cases, what's happening is they're shipping U.S. groceries overseas. I'm not even kidding about this. This is real. To sell them at a profit. Grocery clerks know it. Store managers know it. State agencies know it. And nobody is stopping it because too many corporations and political interests are benefiting from the program continuing exactly as it is. How many of you knew that? Let me know in the comment section because this is wild. And here's the real point. If a program is supposed to exist to feed people who need help, then it should do exactly that. It should cover actual staples. It should be temporary. It should require, some sort of accountability. And it should have limits. Because when a system is this easy to abuse, it will be abused. And the people who end up paying the price are the same taxpayers who are already being crushed by inflation every time they go to the grocery store. So the question isn't, should we help people in need? The question is, why are we funding a program that's become this inefficient, this unmonitored, and this upside down? If we care about helping people, then the system needs to be fixed, not blindly defended. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Appreciate you.
First of all, not a bad video. I got to give myself that. Very rarely do I give myself credit, but this guy right here seems like he knows what he's talking about. It's so funny how you get 2 different Brads on TikTok and then my podcast. I love it. Well, here's what people are saying in the comment section. Let's see if we get a little bit. Can we get zoomed? We can't get zoomed in. Okay. So there are a good amount of people that do think this whole thing is being abused and should be done away with. Like, that was actually nice to see. But it says here, you think big companies care about fraud and abuse? As long as someone is buying their product, they don't care about who and how. The taxpayers are actually subsidizing the food and retail industries. There's truth to this. Kind of the way Obamacare subsidizes the rich, healthcare nonprofits. Kind of the way Obamacare subsidizes the rich. The rich wouldn't be on Obamacare. Rich have their own health insurance. What? The rich subsidize Obamacare, dude. What are you talking about? Healthcare nonprofits, it's close socialism income redistribution. A helpful tip is whenever you have somebody that doesn't have a profile picture and a rando name like this, you can't really trust in what they say. If they don't have the balls to put their own face on social media and they're like at least some coherent name, I usually just scroll past it. I should have done it on that one. Let's see. I use mine to get canned goods, rice, and pasta to stock up my pantry. You never know what can happen. You're using your EBTs to stock up on food. I mean, I'm not against stocking up on food, but again, it has nothing to do with this video. My question is that how long have you been on EBTs? Are you currently putting in job applications? And I'm still looking for, by the way, if anybody wants to do that right now and kind of almost be a producer on the show, anybody could find right now if job applications have surged. We said this yesterday. If people are truly starving and you know that you're about to run out of money for EBT and SNAP benefits to buy food, wouldn't you think that you would be for like the last, 2-3 weeks, knowing that this was going to happen, go out and put in a ton of job applications? Do you realize that price of fruit, veggies, meats, and other stuff is now more expensive? SNAP has work requirements as well. Blame the government. Pay $40 billion to Argentina. What an idiot. These are real people, folks. These are not bots. These are real people. Fruit, veggies, meats. You get 3 pounds of meat for $12.99. That is a ton of food. 3 pounds of food, folks. That lasts me an entire week for $12.99. For ground turkey, which is high protein, it's lean, it's low fat. Rice will have your carbs. And by the way, veggies ain't that expensive. I sometimes mix veggies. And you get the veggies at Costco, the huge bag of it that's going to last you for a week. You can live legitimately on almost $40 a week of food. I understand you have kids, 80, double it. Oh, well, they need to have, not to mention a lot of these school systems give your kids donuts, crack, or like chips and stuff at school. So this is the part that's also left out, is a lot of these people on EBTs when they're like, my kids gotta eat. It's like, bro, they get, like here in California, all kids, there's no requirements anymore to get fed at school. They all get meals. So they get breakfast, they get lunch, and they get a nutrition. So the only thing parents are feeding their kids basically is dinner. That's also, everybody's pretending like they're feeding their kids breakfast, lunch, nutrition, snack, and dinner, late night meals, all this stuff. No. The school will give you breakfast, nutrition, and lunch for the majority of the year. 10 months out of the year, you are just giving your kid basically dinner. So, yes, junk food is highest calorie per dollar. That's what you do on a budget. Junk food is the highest calorie per dollar. That's what you do on a budget. No, it's not. No. You don't do your budget based on calorie count, you idiot. What? You do your budget on a zero-based dollar budgeting app, or usually you're supposed to do it on a piece of paper and then move it over to an app. It has nothing to do with your calorie. It has everything to do with your debt, and has everything to do with the redistribution of your money so that you don't go into debt, and that you can pay off that debt and then move it into savings and then investing. This is how people think. I only get bird food money. I buy food. Citation. So we'll move on here, but just wanted to show you guys that stuff. So here's the part I wanted to show you, that there's this new write-up here, but this is the stuff they're buying off Amazon that allows you to get SNAP and EBT eligible. Look at this. Little Debbie's. Look, I love a good Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie, but no. That's not what you should be buying with your SNAP. Here's all this candy. Look at that, 160 pieces, dude. Gushers, Oreos. Look, again, and I love all this stuff. I buy Oreos. I actually get the thin Oreos because I do that as like a, when you're trying to lose weight, it is about not just your macros, but it is obviously about your calorie count too. And so I'll have like, those thin Oreos. I think those are the best Oreos, but the thin ones, I'll have like 2 of them. But those will last you like a while. You know what I mean? When you're only having 2 every now and then. Now, this one I actually don't mind. This is the one that I would have pushback with Matt Walsh on. I'm okay with people buying tubs of protein because this is a great meal replacement and it's very good for you. Protein. And I'll tell you why, for obviously multiple reasons. Your body relies heavily on protein. If you're somebody that retains a lot of water, that usually means, well, one, your liver's probably going out. So you want to be careful with that. Like if you have a belly, a lot of people think that belly is fat. It's usually just your veins are not holding the water in to be filtered through your kidneys to pee out. And so what's happening is it's actually moving out of your veins and it's going in basically into your belly and around your body. So usually that's one, you're drinking too much, or your liver is bad, or your heart is bad and your heart is not pumping enough blood to your liver. That's causing you to have cirrhosis. And it could just be early cirrhosis. So you should probably check that because it probably ain't fat. It's probably water. And the other reason for that is you have really low protein. Your protein should be pretty much the same as your body weight in grams. So a little bit less than that. Usually it's like 80% of your body weight. So for example, if I weighed, let's just make it simple. If I weighed 100 pounds, then I would probably want to have 95 grams of protein or 80 grams of protein every single day. So to give you an idea, this is 24 grams. You should be having one of these a day, probably for breakfast. And it's a real meal replacement. What that's going to do for you is protein makes you feel full a lot longer than like a carb or like a fruit or vegetable. Great meal. I use this as a meal replacement on my way home. As I told you, I have Oikos. It's 30 grams of protein, and I'll have that on my way home from work. So I don't eat breakfast. I fast. I don't eat breakfast. I don't have my first meal until usually about 11:30 noonish. And that's just the 200 grams of rice, 200 grams of turkey. And I'll put like a little, that the place I work at offers soup. So I'll just splash a little bit of soup to give it a little bit of flavor. And that's what I have for lunch with an Activia for gut health. Then I have an Oikos, 30 grams. And then I have another 200 grams of protein and rice. And then I go for a run. And then I have another protein that's Orgain. And there you go. That's what I do almost every single day. What do we got here? Yeah, see, this is a waste of money. I used to do this, but then it was like if you break it down, it's $1.40 for a cup of coffee. I did this a long time ago. I think somebody gifted us an espresso machine, and it ended up breaking. But it's just like, they're good too, by the way, but ridiculous. So now obviously you gotta get the 1775 coffee. Mm-hmm. By the way, you just brew yourself coffee for pennies. All right, so that's what I wanted to bring up, just like the stuff they're buying. And then here's how how do food I can't read. How do food stamp using and non-using household food expenditures compare? So the SNAP benefits are in yellow, and then the stuff that all of us do is in blue. Now, if you're colorblind, sucker. Meat and poultry and seafood. So SNAP households actually buy, looks like more than that compared to non-SNAP households. But then it pretty much switches when you get into almost everything else. So the juices, the snacky snacks, the fruits, the desserts. Well, that one, SNAP actually buys a little bit less. But I'll be honest, it shouldn't be that high anyways. Now, I'm not saying you can't treat yourself. That's crazy. But it's like, dude, the stuff you're buying is nuts. And they're getting a lot of money, dude. They're actually, I'll just have this ranked up right here. Look at this.
So I get $3,000 in food stamps.
Is that again, I'm going to ask this. I've never been on food stamps or EBTs. God forbid. I don't ever want to be on that. I don't ever want to rely and take people's money. Is that a month? You get $3,000 a month? Let me know in the chat, you guys. I'm looking at it.
So I get $3,000 in food stamps.
That's so
obviously
crazy.
It's 8 of us. So
whoa,
the math.
8. Again, not trying to be rude. Severely obese, and I'm not trying to be rude. You are not starving, lady. You are doing great with 8 people, by the way, and they're probably obese as well.
That's why I get $3,000. I have no income, so obviously I'm gonna get the full benefit amount. Does that make you mad too?
Kind of,
Does it
yeah.
make you mad that the government is helping me feed my children?
Kind of. I wouldn't say mad. It's not mad. It's I got a lot of questions.
Does that make you want to punch me in my face?
No.
Does that make you angry?
No.
Does that make you shiver in your boots?
No.
Yeah. Be mad. Stay mad. How else am I gonna feed my kids? I don't have a...
Can you imagine somebody talking to you like this and you're paying for them? Let's just pretend that you had the authority to pull that money. You are the person that's giving this person $3,000 a month for food. Let's just say. I know it's not happening, but for the sake of the argument. In the chat, give me a yes or no. How many of you, if she sent you a video on your phone like this, would stop that money immediately? Some of you might not. She's like, hey, I get it. I gotta feed the kids, man. She got kids. So tell me, yes, I would pull the money, or no, I would keep funding it. I know my answer. I think you guys know me well enough what the hell I would do real quick.
A job, even though I'm going to an interview today. God, like I said, I took your advice. So it is what it is.
It's weird. And, like, I mean, everybody's paying. Everyone pulling that money real quick. You know what I'm saying? It's, and I'm trying not to read too far into this, but if you watched her facial expressions, it was, I don't want to say euphoric, but it was like she was getting a rise out of asking people, oh, you mad at me? You want to punch me in the face? You upset because you feed my kids? It's like, no, I'm not any of those things. It's not my life. I think it's morally messed up that you're relying on everybody for food, and you think it's kind of funny that you have 8. I go, well, if there's 8 of you, I don't know if baby daddy's at home. 7 kids. So that just tells me that you're not mature. You're obese. You don't even know how to take care of yourself. But if you can't take care of yourself, you're expected to take care of 7 kids. Based on all of that, might have multiple baby daddies. I don't know. I hope not. You don't have a job. You're sitting in a car that's probably paid for by the taxpayer as well in some way, shape, or form. So there's a lot of questions here. And what that tells me is that it's very sad. It's very sad that you are willing to have kids. And I'm not mad about it. It's not my life. But it's very sad that you're willing to have kids. And those kids will probably grow up all screwed up in some way, shape, or form. Some way, shape, or form, statistically, because you decide to have kids and you don't know how to even deal with your own life. So that's sad. And maybe the kids are doing great. For all I know, maybe they have all 4.0s and they're killing it. They're doing awesome and they're just fine as dandy. I don't know. But it's just weird. And then you notice when she was smiling, saying all that stuff, then when she talked about, well, I took y'all advice and I put in an application to I got an interview today. But she wasn't happy about that.
$42 million people in this country that need food stamps on a weekly basis. And we're saying people deliberately.
This guy got it. This guy caught it. This guy caught it. Hold on. Everybody just give me a moment. This part is euphoric. This guy knows statistics. I could tell. Do you want to know how I could tell? They're using people for a reason. Do you notice they didn't say 42 million Americans? They said 42 million people. So, I have not seen this clip. I think there's a bunch of illegal aliens on this bad boy.
Instead of Americans, because most of the people that are on food stamps aren't even from this country.
That's why you tune in. That's why you tune in.
45% of Afghanistan immigrants are on food stamps. 42% of Somali immigrants. 34% of every immigrant from Iraq. 23% of Haitians. 59% of all illegal aliens are collecting food stamps, meaning that all illegal aliens, 59% of 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 all illegal aliens are collecting food stamps, meaning that most of the people getting food stamps from the U.S. government and the U.S. taxpayer are not even Americans. Think about that. And we didn't know about any of this before the government shutdown started, but thanks to Democrats, we can confirm tonight that millions of Joe Biden illegal aliens, people who crossed the border when Joe was president, are now collecting food stamps from a program funded by hardworking American taxpayers.
What do y'all think about that? It's just crazy, man. It's just nuts where our money's going. So what's this lady I just want to watch it. I want to see what she's talking about.
Hi, you guys. I'm out of the store. So they wanted $7 for this. Mind you, I don't have food stamps anymore. They cut me off. So I only had $22 left in food stamps. Right. So this is what I stole.
What?
Okay. They wanted $9 for this. I said, oh, I don't got $9. Then they wanted $2 for this. They wanted, sorry, it's all fucked up because it's been in my purse. $7 for this. I'm making some stuffed salmon today. These are needed. I'm not paying $7 for that. Okay. Let me show you the most important thing to me. Short ribs. Take off the label so that you don't beep. Get your fucking meat. How many do you think that I got?
Oh my God.
How many short ribs is that? I call that eminent domain. You know what I'm saying? One thing I learned from the white men: take it. Hey now, take it. I don't give a who's already sitting there.
This has to be fake, right?
Your land was already established. It's mine now, and I want it. That is what we should be preaching in the land to the masses. Act more like a white man. Take it for yourself, and you won't be worried about who don't got it. You see what I'm saying? Get out there and ravish.
It has to be fake. It has to. Wow. There's a lot of people like that. If that's real, there's a lot of people like that. That's very, very sad. And that's what I'm talking about, is that goes out completely runs out in about 48 hours, a little bit less. Man, sad to see where our society's at. It really is. I mean, I'm naturally a pessimist. I'm not an optimist, and people are like, no shit, Brad. but I do think America, the experiment, is done. I think that happened starting a while ago, truthfully. And I would say probably going back to FDR's time with all this Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, then you got Obamacare, all this stuff. I think when you started to rely on the government for a lot of things, I think that was when we started seeing the downfall of this great nation of ours. And it's not just echoed by me, it is echoed by a lot of people, that it's not a matter of when this country is going to sorry, it's not a matter if this country implodes. It's going to happen. This experiment is done. The question is, can we slow it down? I don't think this country will last another 200 years. I don't, no way. Right. We're turning 250 here. I don't think, I'd be shocked if that was in the cards. So that's some pretty wild stuff. We got, God, I got so much stuff I want to show you, but we also have Dark Maga tonight at 4 p.m. So check that out because I'm not going to be able to get through everything. And there's a lot of news to cover here. Let's get the Joey here really quick. 'Cause I missed the guy. I missed the guy. What is he doing right now? Is he pooping his pants? What is he doing? Never mind. I have so many sadistic jokes to make about Joe, but I don't. God, I wish I could say them all, but I can't. Dude, do I have some really rough, disgusting, dark humor jokes about Joe. Much like the media talking heads and elected Democrats who waited until former President Joe Biden was clear of political risk before they admitted he was not in top form, a number of those in his inner circle kept mum on the subject until President Donald Trump had to return to the White House. In closed-door testimony, here we go, before the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, more than a dozen former Biden aides fielded the usual questions that follow any political scandal or cover-up, and I think it was the greatest political cover-up in American history, and I firmly do believe that. Who knew what, and when did they know? The Oversight Committee released a report on Tuesday on Biden's autopen presidency, which sought to determine what decisions were made directly by President Biden and how many times might the autopen have been used to sign his name without his understanding of the issue or his knowledge that it was even happening. In pursuit of that information, they heard from 14 former Biden aides, some of whom took the fifth, and some of whom revealed the concerns they had previously left unspoken. Now this is to me is truthfully a nothing burger. We all know they were complicit. Well, they all knew this guy was an idiot and didn't know what was going on. A few revealed that despite making the rounds on the cable news shows in Biden's defense, they had rarely spoken to the president, much less seen him in person. These people worked with this guy in the same building and had no idea, never even talked to the guy. Yeah. Crazy. How many of you, there's people that work in pretty big offices that never, I suppose, talk to the CEO, I guess. Most people have, though, if you're in the office. Months prior to Biden's exit from the presidential race in 2024, Zients had referred to Biden as energized and voiced his confidence in successful re-election campaign. And it wasn't just him, by the way. I just want to bring that up, that they did this whole oversight thing and found people were willing to say, yeah, this guy was kind of deranged. He was a little lunatic, didn't know what the hell was going on, poopied his diaper, was always sleeping at times. Remember when, oh God, what's her name? Joy Behar on The View was saying how, oh, well, he exercises. He's sharp as a tack. Loud as a whistle. Senior communications advisor Anita Dunn defended Biden even after his disastrous debate appearance on CNN, telling MSNBC that it wasn't his greatest debate. Oh, I knew we should have kept reading. This is going to be fun. But insisting that Biden has been a great president and that in this case, he is going to take to the American people. Oh, but behind closed doors, and after Biden had stepped away from the public eye, Dunn told members of the committee, I thought his voice was softer and that his childhood stutter reappeared. Biden's former chief of staff revealed that exact moment during the CNN debate that he exclaimed, "We are effed." Biden had given a lengthy and nonsensical answer to a question and had ended his ramble with the phrase, "We beat Medicare." Oh, we beat Medicare. Do you guys remember that? We need a good laugh after this EBT stuff. Oh my goodness. A little trip down memory lane. Oh, we got more. I'm trying to find out if we got more stuff revealed behind closed doors. Here's what I'm trying to parse out. There was Mike Donnellan, a senior campaign strategist, admitted to the oversight that he had been part of the White House's and the campaign's effort to limit Biden's travel and activities, saying that at one point that it was a lot to ask to have the president fly to Europe to Los Angeles. Trump's already made 2 trips in the span of like 6 months to Europe, to Asia. The dude's been to the Middle East. The guy's been everywhere. But at the event at Harvard in February 2025, even after Biden had left the White House, Donnelly continued to defend him. I don't know how much time any of those spent with him. I know how much time I spent with him. I know what I saw. And what I can tell you is every time I saw Biden overseas, especially in Ukraine and NATO, he was the voice in the room. Get off the screen. Stop it, you freaking idiot. These people think you're genuinely stupid. And it's not just, they don't just think that we're stupid, right, as Republicans and conservatives. And mind you, most of you are independents that watch the show. They think their own party's stupid. I mean, the gaslighting that they do with their own party is truly next level. Every politician does it. Every politician lies. Every president lies. Every president gaslights. But there's levels to it. And boy, oh boy, do the Democrats take it to the next level. I mean, they're out there saying before that you were creating cheap fakes and deep fakes of Joe Biden. It was so bad that the only way they can explain Joe Biden's mental decline was that it had to be fake. It had to be faked by all of us, that we spent time in our basements, in our closets, in our offices, making fake videos of Joey fumbling and stumbling through his words. Give me a break. It's really, really wild. Speaking of things that are really, really wild, you guys hearing about this whole trucker thing going on around the country? It's bad. And it's funny because the truckers didn't realize what was going on until about, I would say, this month. So how illegal immigrant truck drivers ended up on America's roads. This is something not a lot of people are talking about. I want to spend a little bit of time here. So just a few years ago, after waltzing across the border illegally, Indian national Singh allegedly deleted 3 people while making an illegal U-turn on a Florida turnpike as he sat behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler in August. We all covered that here on the Bald Brad Show. Well, this illegal alien came into the country in 2018 and was handed a commercial driver's license in Washington in 2023, according to the Department of Transportation. Now, people are saying, well, wasn't Donald Trump president in 2018? Yeah, but if you remember, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer weren't willing to give him the funding that he would need to have Border Patrol down there at the border and to build the border wall to the span and capacity that he wanted. So he's fighting Congress the entire time to get that border seized up. It's amazing how it's not a problem anymore when he has all 3 branches of government. Now, who had all 3 branches of government and allowed the border to stay open? That's called Joe Biden. And who did they blame? Republicans. Sure. Yeah. Always our fault. It's always Trump's fault, as you saw in yesterday's episode. Everybody was like, because of Trump, he did it. The Cheeto man, it's Trump's fault. Every video we watched practically yesterday was always Trump's fault. He received his license despite having, look at this. I talked about this. I told you the proof. And now I have the receipts. Oh, it just always gives more credibility. They don't BS you guys or blow smoke. That's like, oh yeah, the guy did read an article somewhere or heard it on the news somewhere. He received his driver's license despite having failed his 10 written exams. He failed 10 times, and he took his behind the wheel training course at a private CDL school in Washington. Florida Attorney General recently revealed, as part of his ongoing investigation into California's issuance of trucking licenses to illegal immigrants. So what he did was he goes, well, I can't get it in Washington. Why don't I go down where things are even more liberal and more freaking woke and go down there and just get my driver's license in the state of California because they hand them out like they're hotcakes. He failed an English language proficiency test in the aftermath of the fatal collision. Wow. Providing correct responses to just 2 of the 12 verbal questions and only accurately identifying 1 of 4 highway traffic signs. It's just a giant stop sign that says the word stop. He's like, no clue. What does that mean? I'm sure they gave him the obvious ones just to really make it a point, that they gave him the U-turn sign. No U-turn. Matt, hey, I'm just going to point this out again because I love it. I love just poking fun at some of you every now and then. There are people in this chat that gave me a lot of shit early on when I started the show 4 years ago, where I said, All this stuff is going to start affecting you in some way, and it's all because of my state. When my state does something, it affects everybody else. Now people are being deleted all across the country by these truck drivers. This isn't just the only scenario that's happened. Families have been wiped out because of my state and the lack of the crap they want to do in terms of enforcing the law and making sure things are done correctly. And it ain't just truck driving. Criminals are had here. Your fentanyl comes through California as well into your states. My state is a major problem. And what do we do here on the show? We call that problem out. That's the best I got. The incident brought national attention to a string of crashes involving illegal immigrant truck drivers, or drivers in general, some of whom barely speak English. The Trump administration has pledged to crack down on these drivers, but America has been left wondering, how does this even happen? Trucking industry experts told the Daily Wire that while federal law requires that the roads testing needed to obtain a CDL has to be done in English, the regulations is often not enforced. The written portion of the testing is offered in many languages in some states. California has like all these different languages. You can take even your driver's license test. I'm almost positive your driver's license test does not need to be in English in the state of California. There's no good checks and balances, to be perfectly honest with you. And you want to know why that's also a problem is because your insurance companies will look at all this and assess the level of risk. So, for example, if you have a lot of non-English speaking people driving in your local area where you live, that is going to drive up the premiums of your insurance because it's a more of a high risk area, because the people that can't read the traffic signs because they don't know English are more likely to cause an auto accident, which is going to cause more risk, which is going to cause your premiums to go up. This all ravels into everything else. A lot of states allow third-party testing to be done, CDLs, and I would say that's how most of these people get through. These people should never gotten licensed in the first place. Well, what was also happening is these truckers couldn't figure out why they weren't getting the business, the jobs anymore to transport a bunch of goods across the country, across state lines, or just into the state, across the state. And they couldn't wrap their head around it. And they figured, okay, well, maybe it's just because of COVID and that's why we're not getting jobs. No. What they realized is there's so many illegal immigrants that obtain driver's license through like the state of California and all these leftist areas, is that they're taking the jobs from American truck drivers for cheaper rate. And so now that's why there's not as many jobs for these other truckers, is because they're being priced out. And they kind of contributed everything to COVID. And so now they're realizing it has nothing to do with COVID. It has everything to do with, you have tons of these truckers out there that are underscoring their rates. Unfortunately, it happened the floodgates to allow these folks to come in from all over the world and get their CDLs very easily. California then granted that individual, a legal alien, a CDL in 2024, allowing him to work across state lines. California State Transportation Agency, however, defends that he was entitled to receive his CDL given the federal government's confirmation of his legal status. Crazy. Dude passed. I'm gonna put in air quotes, passed his exam. But then when he was tested again, couldn't answer any of them. Okay, sure. Yeah, California. There's no shady shit going on. So here's the accident itself. I'll get flagged for that. And that's where the people ended up getting deleted. God awful. He probably doesn't have an actual clue what the hell is going on. Indian National, 21 across the United States, 2022. Yeah. But that was what was going on from these truck drivers, is they're being priced out. Unbelievable. But Gavin Newsom doesn't care. They're entitled. They're entitled to all this stuff. They're entitled to your SNAP benefits. They're entitled to your health care programs. They're entitled to driver's license. They're entitled to vote. They're entitled. That's what it is. Yeah. It's not your country, you guys. If you thought, sorry. Yeah, I think you forgot that. You're American. Yeah, no, you're a second-class citizen in your own country. If you're denoted from any other country, you're actually automatically above the actual Americans. That's how it works. I don't know who told you otherwise. I think you were fooled. But yeah, no, this isn't your country anymore. It's kind of like that movie Captain Phillips. I'm the captain now. No, it's crazy what we're seeing here. It really, really is. All right, let's see what's going on now. Let's get to some random clips here, and then we'll save the stuff for Dark Maga tonight at 4 p.m. It's open to everybody else. It's the last Dark Maga of the month, folks. Come join us. And it's kind of nice that it's happening today, and not today being Halloween. You know what I mean? We get to kind of spend some time together. And we have some video clips. I have some stuff I definitely want to watch with all of you and kind of hang out as a community. And if you're not familiar with Dark Maga, it's an opportunity for us to see more long form video content and just kind of hang out as a community, read more of the chat. It's really, I enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a palate cleanser for us. But sometimes we do go over a lot of different news, and it is basically a continuation of the Bald Brad Show. But it just depends. Well, Whoopi Goldberg here thinks that Republicans should stop investigating Joe Biden's auto pen scandal. Always do the exact opposite of whatever the View says.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. You know, I kind of agree with him. If you, instead of investigating a man who is no longer in office, I would like y'all to.
Did she really just say that? just in the first 11 seconds, did anybody see the hypocrisy already?
No, I kind of agree with him. If you, instead of investigating a man who is no longer in office, instead of investigating a man who is no longer in office, instead of investigating a man who is no longer in office.
Donald Trump was investigated when he was no longer in office. Just to let you know.
I would like y'all to find out why the U.S. military is striking vessels without verifying who's in them.
Yeah.
I don't care who's in them. Just transporting drugs. I don't care who's in them. They're transporting drugs. For example, if you're transporting drugs across, at any point you get pulled over, you think the cop cares who's in the car? No. Yeah. Don't care. You're just surprised that there's huge tubs of drugs sitting in front of you. When you look over to your buddy, hey Miguel, what's that? What are those 30, 40 gallons of buckets that I'm doing in this boat? By the way, no fishing rods, no bait tank. You got like 4 outboard motors from a dude that's basically living in a shack in the middle of the jungle. 4 outboard motors and a boat. Yeah, really whoopee. There's no questions to be had there of what this guy's doing. The guy that lives in a pallet hut in the middle of the Amazon, and he just shows up to a river that connects to the ocean and goes, all right, Pablo and Enrique, we're gonna hop in this boat here. We're just gonna go fishing, bud. Hey, dude, how'd you get these 4 outboard motors that are like thousands of dollars a piece? And how'd you get this boat? And what are all those big drums doing? Where are we going?
I want the government shut down to figure out what's going on because it's getting ready to be the longest one in history.
Oh my goodness.
SNAP benefits are about to run out.
The end of the world.
Soybean farmers in financial crisis. And of course, there is the unreleased Epstein files.
Yes.
And
people watch the show, guys. It's nuts. And look, I play 36 seconds of it and we're already trying to pull our hair out. I mean, some of your hairline right now after 36 seconds looks like Whoopi Goldberg's hair, where you're just pulling out your eyebrows. You pulled out your eyelashes, like the frontal lobe of your hairline. This is what some of you look like right now. Awful. Don't do that to yourself. It's terrible. Jeez. Well, some people have brain injuries, but somehow are sane. We have John Fetterman admits that his party is scared of the far left. Don't you tell us, John? We know that.
Democrat, I am incredibly, I've been disappointed, and I refuse to have a political gamble that's going to put those kinds of food security for 42 million Americans at risk on this. Now, some people might be afraid of the extreme left, but I am not one. I am not one of those Dems. And as a Democrat, I
am not one of I thought he said thems, but he said Dems. So that's kind of nice to see. So let's see what else we have here. We have a clip here of Scott Jennings, and he's on CNN talking about the auto pen. This is our palate cleanser. Usually we try to end the show with Scott Jennings because Scott is the man. He's a national treasure.
Not about the pen. The auto pen has been used. Presidents, as you pointed out, used it. There's precedent for that. That's fine. The question is, did the president himself authorize or make the decision that led to the use of the auto pen? And what the committee found was that there were numerous instances where there was no real direct chain of evidence going from presidential decision making to the use of the auto pen. And in the last 3 months of the Biden administration, I mean, he was, I think we all acknowledge, and the reporting is very clear, in severe cognitive decline. And so the committee the committee, you don't agree he was in cognitive decline?
I do not, because there's no medical evidence to say that. Now, that's a political talking point for some of you on the right, but there's no evidence to point to that. Dr. Scott.
Do you know?
Dr. Scott, do you have evidence?
Do you know why the president's physician took the Fifth Amendment before the committee?
No, the same reason why Republicans have taken the Fifth Amendment under oath.
Listen, if you're here to argue the sharpness of Joe Biden, I commend you on your effort.
I'm not here to argue that. I'm just saying there's no medical evidence to point there was some cognitive decline.
Do you have eyes and ears? I think you do.
I do.
So the committee found that in many instances they could not trace presidential decision making to the use of the auto pen. It's unprecedented. We've never had this situation before. So it's not the use of the device. It's a question of presidential power. The Constitution says only the president can pardon, as you pointed out, but he has to make the decision. An unelected staffer cannot say, well, we think he's okay with us pardoning this group of people and let's do it. That would be extra constitutional, and now the DOJ has to decide what to do with it. I'm not sure what you do. I guess you go ask a judge if these decisions are traceable, but the question is, where does the power lie? It doesn't lie with the staff. It only lies with the president. The same would be true for executive orders. If executive orders were drafted and signed in his name, you know, I think it's a legit question. Now, I don't know how a judge would deal with this if the DOJ showed up in court. It is an unprecedented situation.
Scott,
it's not a question about the signing. It's a question about knowledge of decision making. And I think Trump has knowledge. Look, I've been around the president quite a bit this year. I can tell you the nerve center of this White House is in the Oval Office at the Resolute desk.
How much time did you spend with Joe Biden? I'm just curious.
How much time did his senior staff spend with him?
How much time did you spend with Joe Biden?
Zero. About the same amount as his staff.
I haven't spent time with Donald Trump, but I have spent time with Joe Biden. Here's what I do know. That Joe Biden, as testified under oath, every single person from Biden world declared that he was into it in the same way that Kevin McCarthy.
I think you should stay with it. You should stay with the sharpness of Joe Biden.
Kevin McCarthy said that Joe Biden's sharp as a tack.
You should stay with it.
Keeping the government open. Then
Keep going.
Well, I've got
the sharpness of Joe Biden is back on the table.
I've got news for both of you.
Scott. This, unfortunately, is an individual here sitting next to Scott that is an absolute idiot. And Scott is just like, keep going, man. That works for me. Bro, it's gonna try to defend Joe Biden and his mental acuity. Shit. Oh, God. That, you know what? I think we all needed that. I think we really, really did. And by the way, shout out to one of our moderators, Pat, who was on a TikTok live recently with one of our other moderators, Jeff. You suckers didn't think I was in there. Jeff knew, but I was still working. 10 gifted subs, man. The first 5 went to Noble Victory, Ruby Red, Rob Smith. Does that say Milk? Or is that Mickey? Miss Ma. Oh, no, I'm going to share you. Mr. Medicine Ball. That's somebody's stage name. Chris RD44. We know Chris. Kelly, good to see you. Jim P. Count Zatara has been here for a while. Harmony Thibodeau. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Jesus. You know, I'm a math guy. I'm not a biologist. Alrighty. Well, that's the end of today's episode. We're going to see what happens with those EBTs, man, because it's getting a little bit wild right now. And, oh, you know what? Let's play this really quick. Hold on. There's an Iraqi refugee on snap cuts. I can't stay in the U.S. without government support.
Without the government support, I cannot stay maybe a month or 2 months.
Pima County.
That's the problem. That's the problem in this country. You used to come to this country without any help. Now they just expect us to pay for everything. Isn't that that's what you're supposed. That's the expectation. You're leaving everything from behind to take that gamble for the American dream and work hard. But the problem is you don't have to work hard anymore because, well, don't worry. The American people will work hard for you. Yeah, don't worry about it. Man. Dude, if I went to another country to live, do you think that my expectation is that I would get jack shit from any of those people from that country? Of course not. Of course not. Do you think I would do it the legal way? Of course. Because I don't break laws, or I try not to. I suppose some people are like, well, Brad, just speed every once in a while. Sure, 72 miles an hour is speeding, I suppose. By law, yeah, it's speeding. So, all righty. Well, pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. I hope all of you have a lovely day. I'll see you back here at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of Dark MAGA, where we might see a little bit of JD. We might see a little bit of Steven Crowder and a few other clips here for a long form video. But hopefully you can come join us. And, well, I'll see you in a few hours, folks. Read your Bible. Pray for yourself and your family. And pray for wisdom that when you read the scriptures, you're able to understand it. I'll see you later. Take care.